bring you exclusive interviews and dive deep into the heart of the matter. The big conversations live here.
Join Kofi Bartels on the Morning Crossfire, weekdays 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. only on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Every morning, as the sun rises over this vibrant city of Lagos, we'll be right here with you. Diving into discussions that matter, we'll tackle the headlines, explore stories that shape our lives, and dissect the issues that keep us awake at night. But that's not all. The Morning Crossfire is your platform too. Your thoughts, your opinions, they all have a place right here. From politics to business and the economy, from the social issues to the heart of the city. I'll be your companion, your source of information, and your partner in exploration. And it's just not about the headlines. It's about the conversations we have, the connections we make, and the impact we create. Your insights matter, your questions matter, and your energy matters. So whether you're in traffic, having breakfast, or starting your way, I'll be right here, keeping you informed and engaged. So Lagos, stay tuned, set your alarms, and mark your calendars, and let's kickstart our mornings together, right here on the Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info. And Kofi Bartels, let's talk.
Live from the heart of Victoria Island, you're listening to your number one station, 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, we're here, pardon the long introduction, but we're here to talk about Zhongshan Fucheng versus the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The case that has been talked about all over Africa, all over the world, all over Nigeria. We want to understand what should Nigerians make of this case? What are the issues at play? What are the legal implications of the actions of this company, Zhongshan Fucheng? I think I'm not the only one who has been trying to get used to the name. What are the implications of the case between Zhongshan Fucheng and the Federal Republic of Nigeria? I would like to hear from you. Please be a part of the conversation by calling the numbers we usually advertise, 0201 277 0993, 0201 277 0993. That's the number to call. For our female listeners who may find it difficult to get through to us with that number, you can call your special line, which is 0201 465 7190, 0201 465 7190. All right, we'll talk about all the issues. Our guest this morning on the Crossfire is not new to the program, neither is he new to Nigeria Info FM. As a matter of fact, he's been with us for some time, and also recently he's been in the news, for talking about the amount of money, I think $5 billion that a certain individual was able to make from government or proceeds of corruption. But we're not talking about the proceeds of corruption this morning. I want to say a very good morning to Okoi Obono-Obla, who's the chairman, defunct presidential committee or presidential panel, investigation panel on the recovery of government assets. Good morning to you. He's a former chairman of the special panel for the recovery of public property, rather. Good morning to you, sir. Good to have you on the program.
Good morning, Kofi.
Thank you very much. Please, can you lower your camera so we can see you a bit? It's yes. Can you take it down? All right. You have the title of Ball. That's a title for chief in my darling Cross River State. So he is also a title holder. Chief, good to have you. For those who are wondering what the Ball means, I had to explain it to them.
Yes, I'm a Ball. I'm a traditional ruler in my community in Ugeb, Yakon local government area in the central zone of Cross River State.
Yes, indeed.
I'm the head of my paternal family. So I control land resources and so many resources belonging to my family. And my family is up to about 5,000, 6,000 people. Okay. So that is my title. And you can see what I'm wearing. Today is about New Year Festival. But because you are my very good friend, that is why I have to agree for this interview. Otherwise, I would have opted out because I was supposed to be out on the street. Carnival, Etangala, one of the masquerades that comes out once a year during this period of New Year's festival celebration.
Wow.
It's a big spectacle.
Wow. Amazing. Today is a New Year festival in Ugep. And last time I came to Ugep, I saw some of the traditional displays where someone put a stick through his neck and the stick came out at the other side. And they said it's a traditional spectacle. And I said, oh my God, I had to take a step back. You know what I'm saying? But I can't forget,
Well, that Nigeria has a lot to offer. It means tourism, cultural tourism. Because of the diversity in the country, we have so much to offer. And this could be a source of revenue earnings for the country. If we are well organized,
Absolutely.
if we are properly organized.
Okay, Obo, thank you very much. A happy New Year festival to you. I missed all the Leboku and all those festivals. I need to come back and enjoy some New Yam.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed. Please try and place your phone on a table, maybe on the table or something, so that it will not be shaking while we're talking to you, sir.
Okay.
So for those of you listening, please call in. Chief, we don't want to waste too much time. Tell us what you know about this case, the Zhongshan Fucheng versus the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You're a lawyer as well. I forgot to mention.
Well, that case, there's no privity of contract between the federal government and the Chinese company in question. But it's strictly a private business between a Chinese company and another Chinese company concerning the Ogun State Free Trade Zone. But somehow, the agreement was registered as a treaty, supposedly between Nigeria and the People's Republic of China. But contractually, I don't think the federal government has any business with this transaction. If there is anybody that has business with this transaction, is the Ogun State government. But that is not the issue. The issue is attachment or seizure of national sovereign assets of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Is that open to the Chinese company? Why did the French court why did they grant that application? I think that application was done ex parte. Okay, but I don't know much about the French legal system because they operate the continental law tradition, and we operate or we practice the common law tradition. Okay, but that is not even the issue. The issue is about the sovereignty, the immunity. That under international law, the certain assets belonging to Nigeria are immune. They are sovereign assets. Okay, all the resources or assets belonging to the federal government of Nigeria or the Central Bank of Nigeria cannot be attached because they have immunity. But recently, we have seen some cases where national assets were seized or attached. I remember the case of Libya. When the civil war of Libya started, some of the factions involved in the fighting in Libya were accused of human rights violation. So the national assets of Libya were attached, were seized. Also, Venezuela, when Venezuela started having issues concerning debt repayment, debt default, and some of the assets belonging to the Venezuelan government were seized. And also Argentina, when Argentina couldn't pay, its debts, its assets were seized. Also, the United States government in 1979 seized assets belonging to the Iranian government. When the Islamists took over the government in Iran, and it didn't go down with the United States, government, and some American citizens were seized by the Iranian Islamist government in Libya. So the U.S. had to seize of assets belonging to Iran. So these are all the instances where national assets can be seized. But ordinarily, as I said before, the principle of sovereign immunity apply to national assets. So national assets, I can mention what are national assets, like our foreign reserves are the national assets of Nigeria. Our sovereign wealth, you remember we have Nigerian Sovereign Wealth Investment Authority. So our sovereign wealth cannot be seized. Our gold reserves, which is kept in the central bank, cannot be seized. State-owned companies, assets belonging to state-owned companies like NNPC and some other state-owned companies cannot be seized. Real estate, government houses, government properties, government infrastructures, roads, buildings, etc., airports cannot be seized. Also, natural resources, like our oil and gas, minerals, cannot be seized. Finally, financial instruments like securities, like bonds and other financial assets cannot be seized because these assets are used for several purposes: financial stability and liquidity of government, economic development and growth, strategic investments, reserve management, national security, and strategic interests. And these aircrafts that were seized by the Chinese company through a court order by a French court, they are national assets. They fall within the category of assets we call, or in international law, are known as sovereign assets. So the aircraft belonging to the presidential fleet, or three aircrafts, I don't think those assets can be seized by the Chinese company that is involved in this matter.
Right.
But that is why I said they must have made the application ex parte without putting us on notice. I believe when we are put on notice and we are able to present our argument on why these assets cannot be seized, these assets will be released.
Okay. Interestingly, you said that by international law, assets of nations, sovereign nations, cannot be seized. But you also gave us examples of assets of countries that have been seized. You talked about Argentina. Very interesting examples. You talked about Venezuela, Argentina. You talked about Iran. So are you saying, yes, on paper they can't be seized, but in reality they are being seized? Because even the money you're talking about, the gold, the reserves and all that. Nigeria, I'm hearing the £20 million P&ID award, that judgment debt. We're hearing that money may be touched by these Chinese people as well, this Chinese company. In fact, some people have made reference to this P&ID case in this ongoing Chinese case, and now we're hearing that Zhongshan Fucheng is making moves to confiscate the £20 million P&ID award, which is domiciled sitting somewhere in a bank in the UK, apart from the presidential jets. So I want you to talk some more about this discrepancy of you can't touch national assets, and then it's happening in these examples.
There's a saying that the law is an ass. The law can be unreasonable. The law can be foolish. So the law gives and takes, and law can be used to do good things, and law can also be used to do bad things. In the Nazi Germany was an example of where law was used for a wrongful things. Committing state murder, 6 million Jews were gassed. So also in law, there is a general rule, there's always an exception to the general rule. So I have enumerated the exceptions to the principle that you cannot take away state assets. In certain circumstances, they could. I have mentioned the case of Libya. When the factions or the factions that were involved in the Libyan civil war, they were accused of human rights violation. So if a country carries out systematic violation of human rights, its assets could be seized.
All right.
Also, I've mentioned the debt crisis in Argentina, when Argentina became bankrupt. So, and they couldn't honor its obligations under international law to its creditors. Its assets were seized. I have also mentioned the case of Libya, where the Islamist government that took over in 1979 from the government of the Shah of Iran, they went ahead and arrested some Americans, seized them, kidnapped them, and kept them under hostage.
So Chief, you're saying that despite the provision of international law, the existence of international law and conventions, it's still not impossible that Nigeria's even financial assets can be touched.
Yes, I have mentioned that Nigerian financial assets cannot be touched. There are certain assets that cannot be touched. I think earlier I enumerated those assets: financial resources, natural resources, real estates, roads, houses belonging to government, sovereign funds, sovereign wealth funds, gold reserve, foreign exchange reserve. All these assets cannot be touched because the principle of sovereign immunity applies.
Okay.
But I was trying to enumerate the exception to this general rule. I have mentioned Argentina, I have mentioned Venezuela, I have mentioned Libya, I have mentioned Iran.
Okay.
So the question will be, in this case, under reference, does it fall within the exception to the general rule that sovereign funds cannot be attached in enforcement of a judgment? So I will answer this question in the affirmative. That is why I said, for now, let us keep our gunpowder dry. With Nigeria will be given an opportunity to present its own argument, because I believe this matter was brought ex parte without notice to the Nigerian government. By the time Nigeria is given an opportunity to advance arguments, I believe Nigeria will invoke this principle of immunity of sovereign assets, and the matter will be thrown out.
All right, you brought up the issue of our national gunpowder. I thought that the national gunpowder would be finished by now. But Chief, this is a case between Ogun State government, who signed this agreement in 2007 for the development of a free trade zone in Ogun State, and a company all the way from China, Zhongshan Fucheng Industrial Investment Company Limited. But if you look at the legal documents, you have, for instance, I'm looking at one here, between, they say, in the matter of arbitration pursuant to the agreement between the government of the People's Republic of China and the government of the Federal Republic of China for the reciprocal promotion and protection of investments, bilateral agreement between Zhongshan Fucheng Industrial Investment Company Limited, the claimant, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the respondent. Statement of reply and witness statements. Why isn't it between Ogun State government and Zhongshan?
Well, I understand that there's a treaty existing between the Chinese People's Republic of China and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So that is that treaty that gives that company maybe the local standing to bring in the federal government of Nigeria. I have mentioned that earlier, that there is no privity of contract between Nigeria and the Chinese company. So ordinarily, the Chinese company has no local standing to take the federal government of Nigeria to court, because one of the principles for contractual arrangements or obligations is that there must be a privity of contract, that I must have a contract between you, Kofi, and Obla. There must be a contract between Kofi and the federal government of Nigeria, or the Ogun State government of Nigeria, or even the Chinese company, for you to have the right to take me to court to enforce that contract. In this case, the federal government had no, please
hold the thought. Please hold the thought. I want to pay our bills, and I'll come back so you can expatiate on this.
her love in the tasty, nourishing meals she cooks for her family. Golden Terra Oil, pure love.
No buy am. But why? No see say this big bull bag of rice no get the new big bull holographic seal. Not true.
Introducing the Big Bull Holographic Seal Tape, your favorite authentic Big Bull rice, 50 kg and 25 kg. Now with holographic seal tape. This is to ensure you get the premium product from Big Bull Rice. Do not buy if the holographic seal tape is not on the bag or is broken. Big Bull Rice. Tasty rice nourished you.
It's my so clean, new and improved. It's my so clean, free for powder that is up seasoning. It's my so clean, foams faster, 2 times cleaning power. It's my so clean, little cars along the way. It's my so clean, so clean.
New So Clean detergents, every grain works for you.
Yes?
You're cooking again?
My sister, you know I like to keep my family happy.
So you use Tasty Tom?
Of course.
This stew is so red and thick.
Tasty Tom tomato mix enriches my meals with an appealing and appetizing red color.
So Tasty Tom is this red and thick?
Yes, so.
It's also tasty.
Can we have more, please?
I am going to get my own Tasty Tom tomato mix. My family deserves to be happy too.
Yes, sir. With Tasty Tom tomato mix, you can give your family more of meals that make them happy. It's thick, tasty, and enriches your meals with an appealing red color. It's enriched with vitamins and fiber that are good for the body. Tasty Tom for tasty meals.
Trader, are you ready for the flight? Yeah. Maximize your gains day or night. The platform, HFM is the name. Trading with us is a brand new game. Come on, feel alone, execution slow. Switch to HFM, watch your success grow. Higher leverage, tighter spreads and swap free. Got your back in this financial fight. Trade forex, commodities, indices, shares and more. Just come and see HFM online trading. Withdrawals, deposit done in a dash. Our execution too fast. HFM stands apart from the rest. HFM stands apart from the rest.
Pico, HFM finito, HFM is ito. HFM national platform, online trading, forex trading, any trading. HFM no delay.
Join HFM today. Visit www.hfm.com or download the HFM app on Google Play or App Store. HFM, online trading at its finest.
Are you ready to ignite your career in the media industry? Wazobia Academy Spark program is back and better than ever. Registration opens Monday 15th July and closes September 24th. Physical classes holds 25th, 26th and 27th of September. Spark 3.0 is offering 3 incredible courses running simultaneously, becoming an OAP, series writing and video shooting and editing. 16,000 naira only for each course, covering both online learning and 3-day physical training. What are you waiting for? Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to kickstart your career in the creative industry. Visit www.wazobiacademy.com/Spark 3.0 to register or send a WhatsApp message to 0908-826-5038 or call 0911-111-1221. Terms and conditions apply. Wazobia Academy. Learn and lead.
Attention, Airtel customers. If your line has been blocked, then this is for you. Head to the nearest Airtel shop with your NIN. Our friendly staff will help you get your line back up and running. Don't let a blocked line keep you out of touch.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
I'm in love. Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Is it to open? Is it to squeeze? Is it to scoop and is it to stir?
Sonia tomato mix in a new stand-up pouch.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
Your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Live from the heart of Victoria Island, you're listening to your number one station, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Lagos, welcome back. It's still the morning crossfire right here on 99.3 Nigerian Farm. Kofi Bartels. We still have a guest with us this morning on the morning crossfire. Okoi, Obono-Obla is the chairman of the former chairman of the Special Investigation Panel, Presidential Investigation Panel for the Recovery of Public Property. This morning we're looking at Zhongshan Fucheng or Zhongfu versus the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I want to look at the legal aspects of this case. It's a legal case, but we have a lot of political responses from the government, from Ibikuna Moso. We have those from Pato Tomi. We have those speaking Benga Daniels and stuff. But there are legal details that I think Nigerians need to be looking at to really understand what is going on here. And our guest is a lawyer, Chief Okoi Obono-Obla, who is taking time out of celebrating his New Yam Festival right there in Ugep, a beautiful city in Yaka local government area of Cross River State, to be our guest on the program. We're going to take your calls now, 0201 277 0993, 0201 277 0993, a female line, 0201 465 7190, 0201 465 7190. It's no longer news that the federal government had its assets seized. 3 presidential jets seized abroad in France and in Switzerland by this company, Zhongshan Fucheng, on account of a court order that they have from the French courts. The federal government has said that the 3 presidential jets seized are sovereign assets used solely for the sovereign purposes or for sovereign purposes, and are therefore immune from attachment as the Chinese firm the Zhongshan Fucheng Industrial Investment Company Limited has sought to do. Well, they did it. Our guest has told us, yes, indeed, international law stands on this, that, sovereign assets of countries cannot be seized or be attached to cases. But he's given us also instances where there were exceptions to this, which is quite interesting, the instances that he gave. Last Thursday, on August 15, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, stated in a statement that while reacting to the seizure of the Nigerian presidential aircraft, that on August 14, 2024, the federal government of Nigeria became aware of an interim attachment of 3 presidential aircraft undergoing routine maintenance in France. The minister said the temporary attachment was made pursuant to an ex parte order issued by the Judicial Court of Paris on the 7th of March 2024 and the 12th of August 2024, respectively, at the instance of Messrs. Zhongshan Fucheng, Fucheng Industrial Investment Company Limited, a Chinese company seeking to enforce a final award granted in its favor on March 26, 2021 against one of Nigeria's subnationals, the Ogun State government. And of course, our guest has answered the question on why this case involves or is between the company and the Federal Republic of Nigeria as opposed to the Ogun State government. Please call right now and have your say. Sir, before I pick the next call, I just want to ask if by law, subnationals are allowed to enter into treaties, agreements, or contracts of such nature with foreign countries or foreign bodies.
That is why this principle of attachment of sovereign assets is not applicable here, because I have mentioned that there's a treaty between Nigeria and the People's Republic of China for protection of investors, the assets of investors from China in Nigeria. So that is what makes this matter complicated, and I believe the Chinese company, was supposed to use the diplomatic channel between Nigeria and the People's Republic of China to resolve this matter. And that is why I will also I will urge the Nigerian government to invoke its rights, under international law, maybe to file a case in the International Arbitration Court or even the International Court of Justice. But let's wait for them to exhaust the present legal proceedings. So I believe Nigeria can also seize assets belonging to China in Nigeria or elsewhere to reciprocate. This principle of reciprocity in international law. They have moved against us. We also move against them, and then the matter can be resolved maybe at the International Court of Justice level or the International Arbitration Panel level.
All right.
They were too hasty
When that amount to hitting below the belt, bearing in mind the fact that this company went to court, and if Nigeria's government, seizes Chinese asset, it will be doing so without any legal backing, unilaterally.
Yeah, this company went to court wrongly because it didn't take into account the principles or the principle of immunity of sovereign assets. I have mentioned to you the exceptions. Maybe because there was no opportunity for both parties to canvass arguments before that order was made. That order is an interim order, I believe. It's an interim attachment. So there will be opportunity for Nigeria to join issues, to establish before the court why the principle of sovereign immunity of sovereign assets of Nigeria is applicable in this matter, in the circumstances of this case.
All right. Interesting. And this now brings us to some of what you lawyers know better than those of us who are not lawyers, but we'll let a little bit of it, law of contract, and I'm learning a lot from what you're saying, but I want to pick some calls and I'll throw some more of the legal issues your way after the next set of calls. 99.3, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Your name, please.
Yeah, you have me.
No, you called earlier. We're taking one call per listener per show. I'm sure you're aware of that. 99.3, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kofi.
Welcome. What's your name?
I'm Mrs. Zobole calling
All right.
from
Good to have you. Please go.
You and your guest.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I heard what he has been saying and his line of argument. But for a lacuna as this, and for that person that caused the entire country, nation, a social embarrassment, are you saying heads should not rule because something happened? The breach of contract, the negligence, somebody that was supposed to do his job did not effectively do his job. So I'm of the opinion that should this repeat itself, if there is nobody to be brought to book, this could even go on. If not for the fact that this came out, there are many things that have been, hidden, that has not come out or to limelight. So are you saying nobody should be held accountable, or somebody that failed to do his job, heads should rule? That's my question. Thank you very much.
All right. Obo, did you hear the question? Chief, are you there? Okay, seems the network has frozen his connection. We'll try and get back to him as quickly as possible. 99.3, good morning. Yes, welcome. What's your name?
Good morning, Kofi.
Yes, your name, location, and country, please.
This is Pastor Ladipo, calling from Orile Sarigomu.
Welcome.
Kofi, the question I wanted to ask him was, how and why did the governors, the one that signed the contract, I think they said government is continual, that somebody signed a contract, another person just came without looking into the books, he just canceled the contract. Is it that we practice government of bitterness, government of something that we just decide to do some things without thinking about the consequences of those things? Because it's not even only the Chinese government, but Patotomi came out too and shared his own sad story.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So what's your question?
My question is, the government that canceled this thing, can there be any consequences?
All right. I don't know.
That government, not even by the federal government this time.
Okay. Are there no consequences for government undertaking such action? Sir, you can respond to his question and also that of earlier caller, Mrs. Oboli.
Hello.
Yeah, Obo, did you hear the question?
Yes. Look, let me tell you, Kofi, this case, what they call a process industrial development case, that Nigeria was entangled with, maybe 2 years ago. I was somewhat involved in that matter I met the former Attorney General under Obasanjo's government, Chief Bayo Ojo, SAN. In the airport in Abuja, I was flying to Calabar in December 2017. And when he saw me, he said, Obla, please, let me have a word with you. He said, look, Obla, draw the attention of the Attorney General of the Federation concerning a judgment that the arbitration award that has been taken out against Nigeria. Look, that I am a member of that international arbitration panel, but in good conscience, I don't think P is it PID?
Yeah, P and
Company Limited.
Yes, P and
Yes, I don't think they deserve the amount of damages that the arbitration court awarded against Nigeria. So I wrote a memo to the Attorney General. I was an essay on prosecution. I wrote a memo in January 2018 or thereabout, drawing the attention, yes, advising that we should file a motion immediately, to attack that judgment or to stay proceedings, So, but the way government business is being conducted, people are not patriotic, civil servants are not patriotic, and there is a lot of bureaucracy. Even in matters that don't require bureaucracy, that requires emergency or urgent, treatment. That matter lingered. I believe no action was taken until 2019, when when the attachment in London was carried out against Nigeria property or assets. It was when everybody aroused from its state of comatose, and then. Maybe this was, was unknown to Nigerians, but that is what I did, and the office of the Attorney General delayed and wasted so much time until when, our assets were attached, and when we woke up from our slumber, So if these facts were valuable, and we have a serious government, yes, and I know how government cases are handled with so much sense. And serve the government will not respond, or the government will dilly-dally until when the courts enter judgment for the plaintiff.
So you feel this is another of that dilly-dallying, playing out again in this case.
Exactly. I don't know what steps officials of the Ministry of Justice in Ogun State. What steps did they take? or if the Attorney General of the Federation was, abreast, if he was abreast of these facts or these issues concerning Ogun State government and the Chinese company. So that is why we have to serious in this country. We have to, employ people who are serious, who are patriotic.
Okay.
Sometimes. The lawyers on government side, they are not patriotic. They just do cases without passion, with levity, and the result will be that most times governments in Nigeria, both at the federal and the state level, are embarrassed.
Interesting. Okay, I want to look at some more details of a legal document before me. I did cite it, mention it, everything and all that, but page 83. Talks about some of the things that the Chinese company presented before the court there in France to show that they suffered some harm. On page 83 of the document I earlier cited, it says a respondent failed. That's the respondent being the Nigerian state, the federal government of Nigeria, or Federal Republic of Nigeria, failed to afford continuous protection to the claimant's investment. That's what it says. Item B. The respondent failed to afford, the Federal Republic of Nigeria now, to afford continuous protection to the claimant's investment. It says that Article 2, Sub 2 of the treaty provides, and so I hope you can hear me well, it says investments of the investors or either contracting party shall enjoy the continuous protection in the territory of the other contracting party. That's part of the treaty they are citing, Article 2, Sub 2 of the treaty. It says investments of the investors or of other contracting party shall enjoy the continuous protection in the territory of the other contracting party. So what do you say about this treaty and this provision or aspect or article in the treaty and the lack of keeping the eyes on the ball by the government of Nigeria to ensure that everything is done in properly. Is it that the federal government was not aware of a treaty it signed with the Chinese government, when the Ogun State government wrote to the Zhongshan and said you have 30 days to vacate the land? Is it that the Nigerian government was not aware and did not know that we had this treaty we signed, or what, sir?
Yes. Well, I don't want to speculate. That question should be put to the office of the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation. But I want to say that maybe the federal government was not aware, even though there's a treaty. But there are so many Chinese companies doing business in Nigeria. I don't think it will be fair to the federal government to expect the federal government to be nosing, all over the place, looking for contracts entered into between Chinese companies and private entities in Nigeria, or with subnational governments in Nigeria. So what the state government was supposed to do, since the treaty, the enforcement of the treaty will be between the federal government of Nigeria and the Chinese people, or the Chinese company, or the Chinese government, the Ogun State government ought to have informed the federal government about this issue. And that is why I was saying that application was brought in bad faith by the Chinese company. What they were supposed to do was to activate diplomatic channels, maybe bring this matter to the attention of
Are you there, sir?
The Minister of Foreign engaged the Chinese government to resolve this matter in a diplomatic manner.
All right.
And that is why I was saying that Nigerian government can reciprocate by proceeding to attach assets belonging to Chinese investors in Nigeria, or Chinese government in Nigeria. Because what they did was in bad faith. They ought to have exhausted the diplomatic channels, before, resorting to legal proceedings in court.
All right.
I believe all this were not done.
All right.
That is why the French court should give opportunity to Nigerian government to present its case.
Okay, interesting. If the agreement, the treaty, or the agreement between Nigeria and China is signed in 2001, is a 9-page document. I don't know how, like you said, we have to ask the Office of the Attorney General. But I don't know how a government will enter into an agreement in 2001 and not keep, an eye out for some of these things. I mean, I'm sure it was not hidden, sir. If Amosu gave this company 30 days, because what we hear is that they only fenced the area, the land of the, I think it's about 10,000 hectares or acres, whichever it is, of the free trade zone. They only fenced it, and for years did nothing other than just fence the perimeter. But I'm wondering how such an agreement can be entered into, and the government is not aware. Okay, we have an agreement. They have Article 1. It talks about definitions, the terms, and all that. Article 3 of the agreement talks about treatment of investments. Both Nigerian investments in China and Chinese investments in Nigeria, and it's clear. I'm looking at everything they said on their on the legal document. It's here in the treaty as well. So I want to ask you about just put some of these aspects of the legal document to you.
Yes. I think it is a carelessness, the negligence, the lack of patriotism we see in the public bureaucracy in Nigeria. I have given you an example of the case of Process Industrial Development Company.
Yeah.
When my attention was drawn to the International Arbitration Award against Nigeria, saying we should pay so much for a contract that was never executed. And I tried to draw the attention of the former Attorney General to this matter by writing a memo. In response to the advice by Chief Bayojo, who is a very experienced arbitrator. And as a matter of fact, he was very patriotic to have drawn my attention. And he said he was not going to sign that judgment, though he was a member of the arbitration panel, because he believed they were unfair to Nigeria. And then I wrote a memo nobody, took action until 2019, when we were out of time to file papers to set aside that award. And then our assets were attached to UK. It was then we started running Scatter.
All right.
So that is the issue.
Okay, all right.
But you have a lot of people in government who are not patriotic, who are not passionate about Nigeria. They don't take things serious. So I call for we should overhaul the public service of Nigeria. It used to be one of the best in the Commonwealth, but it has really gone down.
All right.
When we go on recruitment or employment, we should employ people who are patriotic, who have integrity, who want to defend the country.
Okay.
But we see people who are ready to compromise Nigerian interests, because the system makes people to compromise.
Okay.
I put my life on the line to fight corruption in this country. At the end of the day, rather than winning a commendation, but because of some vested interests, I was moved against, I was disgraced, I was ridiculed, I was scandalized, I was bush-hunted, I was persecuted. So these are the things that make some Nigerians not to be patriotic again.
Chief, please hold
and it's affecting all of us.
Chief, please hold the thought. You've said it all. I want to take one last call before we round off here. There's a lot to talk about. We need at least 2 straight hours to at least do half of the content we have for this particular topic. Because we need to look at the entire treaty, look at the legal documents, even their prayers. Their prayers are quite interesting. 99.3, good morning.
Yeah, Kofi, good morning. How are you doing?
Very well. You've called already today.
No, I didn't call you. Don't call me. I didn't call you. Jonathan is my name. I didn't call you.
In the morning.
I didn't call about.
Okay, all right, go on.
You should know that I'm a really person.
All right, go on, Jonathan. Sorry, go on.
I have a question for your guest, please.
All right, very quickly, please.
Now, I want to know, the court case was instituted in France. Is it possible for a court process to start and get to even judgment without the defendant or the defendant sitting in that court without going anything? Is it possible for court to go through to the end like that? Is it possible?
Thank you, Jonathan. I know you've been following this case closely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Chief, very briefly, because we're out of time.
Yes, it is possible somewhat if corruption is involved. Court papers can be prepared, registered in the registry of the court, and and then the process will be manipulated to make it look as if the other party has been served. Okay? And then maybe a fake affidavit of service will be brought to the court, and put in the judge's file. Judges in our jurisdictions don't go out of to ferry evidence for a matter that has not been brought to his attention. So whatever the judge will look at, it's what is in the case file. And so if the affidavit of service is manipulated to show that the defendant has been served, then the defendant fails to come to court, then the plaintiff can, ask the court for judgment. But most times, judgments that are obtained under the circumstances that have enumerated, we used to call them judgment obtained by fraud.
Okay.
So all you need to do is, when you become aware, when the defendant becomes aware that a judgment has been gotten through fraud, without knowledge.
But we have to go. We will look for another day to extend this matter. But I want to thank you very much, Okoi, Obono-Obla. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Appreciate you joining us this morning. All right, and that's the size of it. Thank you very much. We'll go pay some bills right here on the Morning Crossfire.
Go for gold, Terra Gold Cube, the amazing seasoning cube. So when you're cooking your delicious meals, don't compromise. Go for gold.
Rich, consistent taste for cooking mouth-watering soups, stews, and jollof. Choose wisely. Choose Gold. Terra Gold Seasoning Cube.
1 cube. Endless possibilities. Terra Gold.
Are you ready to ignite your career in the media industry?
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.